Okay, so I also have another article I just thought was kind of funny. This is from Rebecca Ferguson's comments about Dune 2. In a recent interview with Collider, she's promoting the season finale of Silo, and she spoke about what audiences can expect from Dune Part 2. And she says, "I'm smiling so much right now, it's so effing good." I'm censoring myself. It's so effing good. I get emotional talking about it because I love Denny, and I love Greg Fraser, and I love the team. But dude, number one is phenomenal and big and grandiose, and then you go close-ups and the imagery and the acting. Yeah, it's all great. It's nothing compared to number two. Number two, it's like an effing gut punch. It's unreal. Greg Fraser, man, quickly became one of my just favorite cinematographers. It's amazing to see his body of work recently and the things that I think are awesome. You could definitely tell that he's not working on The Mandalorian recently. I think he was in just the first season. Mandalorian season 1, Greg Fraser was working on that. And then he went to Dune, because I remember there was a conversation of how he went from Star Wars to Dune and the differences there as far as the desert planet goes. And that was really fascinating too, because the way he did the lighting I thought was so well done in Dune. And you could really tell the difference too with how Tatooine is depicted. And obviously there's some inspiration there from George Lucas in regards to Tatooine, but in this desert planet, I do see that difference there between Tatooine in Star Wars and Arrakis. It really looks like such a penetrating, unforgiving heat, this brightness, and how they accomplished that lighting. It had to be really good so as not to have these weird shadows on the actors' faces. So that was interesting. Very fascinating to hear about those specifics of the lighting and how important it is, especially in this environment too. And that was kind of neat too within the Arrakeen Palace, how the light was streaming in to the palace, and really fascinating stuff. But also he's worked on the Batman, and he's going to work, or his work will be in The Creator. He's really got some amazing projects. And from what I've seen of Dune Part 2 already, it looks amazingly shot. Also about getting to work with the new talent joining the franchise, Rebecca Ferguson commented on the newcomers to Dune Part 2. She said, "Their characters are huge and important, and they are emperors, and they are princesses, and they are brutal killers, and they are gory. They are fully and utterly needed to make the spectacle that it is. It's the creme de la effing creme of actors." That's what it brings. Yeah, she's definitely excited for the performances. I know it's fun to examine these, but I found that actors overinflate the projects they're in no matter what. It helps to paint the entire sphere as hollow and untrustworthy. I get you, yeah. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Of course, they want to speak well about their projects. When it comes to Rebecca Ferguson, I will say that this is kind of a departure from her initial run of marketing for Dune Part 1, because there were several interviews that she was getting. She kept bringing up the book and kind of diminishing it and kind of saying, oh, it was written so long ago, but the screenwriters have really taken it, made Lady Jessica into this great, powerful character. And so she had to downgrade or diminish the source material in order to praise the film. And when you take into account the film and everyone and Denis' comments, they were pretty faithful to the story of Lady Jessica, but what they did show of Lady Jessica. And again, that can be debated upon, because I think she was she came across to a lot as kind of a little over emotional at times, and not really as she is portrayed in the novel. So it kind of went against her comments. What she was praising about the screenwriters, she should have been praising about Frank Herbert, because this is how he wrote the character. And the screenwriters kind of diminished, the full weight of her character and full strength and power that she holds, just in her Bene Gesserit training, but also within House Atreides and her wide array of abilities. So I'm glad at least now she's gone to just being happy that she's a part of this universe. And she probably hasn't read, she hasn't even commented that she's finished reading it. I don't know, she hasn't read, but that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to be an aficionado of Dune to be, as long as the writers and directors know and are very familiar, and as long as they can just work with the actor to get the desired performance, then okay. It's just icing on the cake if an actor does want to, do that extra research and if it helps them ultimately in their performance. But for some, it might not. For Henry Cavill, obviously that's great for him. That's part of his process to be well researched. And I think for a lot of the other actors on Dune, but that's not the case with everyone too. So as long as the creators and writers, if they're doing their job right, then, the actors can do their job. But yeah, you don't have to be an expert, just be excited about what you're doing. So I think it's fine for her to just be excited. She sounds excited, and I think that's all you gotta do. I don't know if it does much. There's this debate going on now with the actors being on strike. Does it help? Does it really help that much to have actors promoting these projects? I think for some cases, yes, but in other cases, it can be detrimental, I think. If you hear the comments about The Acolyte, the more I hear from the actors about The Acolyte, the less I'm excited. I mean, well, wasn't that excited to begin with, but because they don't have any knowledge or respect for the universe George Lucas made. Same thing with Rings of Power. I think it could have been helped a lot to not have these comments that just kept detracting or just tearing down the world that you're in now. And you should be happy to be part of an adaptation of a mythology that is so beloved and so widely revered and has such a historical weight as far as storytelling, world building. I think if you're just happy, show a little bit of humility to be part of something that so many people wish they could be a part of.